Salam Saif. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Fatima El-Hindi. I was born a teacher and taught math and physics for a while. But for the past 30 years or so, even maybe more, I have been researching, consciousness from the Quranic perspective and the quantum physics. And I share my findings through this channel and my private community at Nas Learning Center. So, Nas Learning Center was developed a long time ago, more than, it's about, 20 years ago. So, I have been sharing with them all my findings, and now it's about time to share them publicly. So, Safe, how are you again? And thank you for helping me putting this series together about, the contribution of all the messengers and the ascended masters that walked earth.
No, thank you. So honestly, this is doing more for me because, I'm a young kid trying to learn everything about the world. So this is very beneficial. But today I wanted to discuss Muhammad and his meditations early on. So from my understanding of what I've read in my biographies and everything, Muhammad at around the age of 38 to 40 decided to start meditating in I believe it was Mount Hira,
Mm-hmm.
and as a spiritual escape from the common bustle and noise of the people of Mecca, he
Uh-huh.
goes and meditates in this cave, and spends increasing hours there, and that's when he receives his first revelation. So from your perspective, I just wanted to for you to go in depth on that.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, based on the historians, Muslim and non-Muslim historians, they said like he spent a quite good time meditating in his life until the day he received the revelation. Now, Muhammad was known and called Al-Amin, the trustworthy. So everybody trusted him. So he was a very authentic, sincere, um, um, everything you want to be had it, very moral person, but he was kind of lost, like thinking, like all of us, we think, who am I? What's my purpose? So he tends to meditate a lot, and that's how the doors open to him anyway, and he received the first revelation. Again, I think I mentioned that to you last time. I prefer to do this series about the teachings of Muhammad through the Quranic perspective more than
Right.
taking a historian perspective. And that just helps us, or helps you or any viewer to just imagine the scene on their own. So I don't want to take away your own imagination. Like, we see what the Quran is saying, and everybody can imagine the scene on their own, can create their own movie in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So Muhammad was meditating, and in one meditation, this is what he received was the first 5 verses of chapter Al-Alaq. So I can share that with you and go over them, and we'll
Mhm.
see what we receive and what we can discuss from that. So I'm going to share with you the document. So and every historian will tell you that, like the very first 5 verses that he received were this chapter Al-Alaq. And I put number 1 here just to show like it's the first chapter in Revelation, in order of Revelation, not in the order of
Of
the
the actual Quran. Right.
exactly. I wonder what number is that chapter Al-Alaq. I didn't check that
Yeah.
yet. Yeah, I should check it later. So it starts with learn, اقرأ باسم ربك. So, I mean, I always imagine myself, I'm in a meditative state, and then I channel these words, learn by the attribute of your Rabb. Now, this Rabb is an Arabic word that usually in translations, they translate it as your Lord. I don't like the word Lord because if you look at the Bible, usually the word Lord has that authority and you can start to see it as a persona. But Rabb in Arabic language has a nurturing in it. Like we called the mother is Rabbat al-Bayt, like she is the nurturing of the family. So in the Arabic, I would not say the Arabic language as much as I say the Quranic Arabic. That word has a nurturing more. So it means like your Rabb is your higher self, your nurturing, and it is the Rabb of everyone. So now it described who's this nurturing, who's this Rabb. It says, الذي خلق. So one attribute is the creator. It's the one who created. So that's first attribute. And then it moves on and it says, created the human from a connection. So an insan is human. So it's
Hmm.
whether male or female, it's here the form human. It's talking about the human. But it
Right.
gave it this description, min alaq. So you see the first verse, safe, it just takes who created. So it made it like open. Created basically everything, the cosmos, the animals, everything.
Yeah.
But here it went second verse and it's very specific. Created the human from connection, a connection. So it's giving something to the human that's very specific, which is a
Right.
connection. Alaq, if you go to the Ibn Faris, it even has like what we call back home, for example, we used to call the chandelier, we call it alaqa, is basically because you have to connect it to something connected to the wall. So it tells you this verse from the beginning, Muhammad is receiving, if you want to learn, learn by the Rabb who created, and then it gave you the very specific description about a human that has a connection from a connection. And then it goes on, number three, it says learn. So we repeat the same message of learn. And your Rabb is the most generous. I mean, just seeing from the beginning, it gives you those attributes that the the nurturing God is very generous because it's abundance. You can start to read between the lines. You're only very generous if you have that abundance.
Hmm.
And then it says, الذي علم بالقلم, the one who taught by the identifier. And I'm
Can
sure
I
you
stop you really
ask
quick here?
me, huh?
Can I stop you really quick here?
Okay, go
I
ahead.
just I just wanted to I feel like a lot of Muslims have the understanding of Iqra as read. Um I just wanted confirmation as to how learn and read might be a bit different.
Yeah, because if you really go and search, see, my specialty really is understanding the sounds of the letters. So Iqra comes from Qara, and
Okay.
Qara has time into it.
Hmm.
So reading by itself, you may not learn as much as you give time to learn from reading, from experiences. So that's why I prefer to use the word learn. Now, this word Iqra also appeared in another surah, in another chapter later on, and that's how what made me feel to translate it as learn is when we die, okay, and you go for life review, there is a verse that says, Iqra kitabaka, learn from your book. So then it's not going to just read, but it's what did you learn from your life experience?
Right.
So that's what made me put the word, the translation for Iqra as learn but not read. The other
Okay.
thing is, I mean, just think of it. You are meditating and you are in state and you are channeling this information. So read what? Usually, if you look at reading, you need
Yeah, you have
something
to see something physically in front of you.
to read it. Versus when you were told to learn, I know by experience, my both my parents were not readers. They never read a book. My mother never read, and but they learned a lot from nature. They learned a lot from life. They learned a lot
Yeah.
from listening. So
Yeah.
I think when you say learn, it's very inclusive, whether you're able to read with your eyes or to read with your eyes from a book, I mean, or to read with your insights from your nature, from what you hear from others, what you learn from your own experiences.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, that makes sense.
thank you. And so I got to verse number 4. And that's where
Correct.
I thought you were going to stop me, but you were asking about it's al-qalam, how I translated it.
Yeah.
So usually in other translations, they look at al-qalam here as a pen,
Hmm.
okay? But really, if you dig into the root word of qalam and you check Ibn Faris, which is um, a dictionary that's really close to the Prophet's time, and it goes by the sounds of the letter. The word qalam really is the identifier. So then later on, if you want to tell me this, I call it a pen, I tell you yes, because it's going to identify how I express myself, or you identify the knowledge you wanted to gain, or whatever. So, yes, later on, maybe we developed in the language the word qalam to be the pen, but in reality, the root word, and if you go back to the dictionaries that are closer to the time of the Prophet, plus the sounds of the letters, it means the identifier.
Okay.
علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. So taught the human what he didn't know. So these are the main 5 verses that was revealed to Muhammad while he was meditating, in the cave Hira. That was really the beginning of the revelation of the Quran. So I
Okay.
think maybe we'll just stop here so that next time we cover the the other verses, which is the chapter 2 in the order of revelation is Al-Qalam,
Hmm.
the
Okay.
identifier.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. I appreciate you being here and explaining clarifying my thoughts regarding it. That's perfect.
Yeah. Any questions about all these verses you've seen so far, or remarks, or anything before we end?
Um I guess one thought I had, not a question, is I think I find it so powerful that the word learn is the first word of the Quran, because I feel like we have so much ignorance in the world. Not even myself included, everyone. And I think that, to correct these biases that we have, learning and increasing your knowledge is essential. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
there
I'm very glad you brought that point, Safe, because we we tend to be ignorant about each other. See, when the Quran says created and create the human from connection, it just tells you we're supposed to be connected as a family. Like, I'm glad now the technology got to the point like to make us as a global family, a human global family. But instead of having fear from each other just because we look different or we speak different language or we have a different color or we have a different culture, that we fear each other. If anything, the Quran is asking us to learn from each other and
Mhm.
connect instead of the fear. So knowledge is a key. And I noticed when I lived in the East, like basically I grew up in Algeria, and I used to travel to the countries around us.
That's a whole different world over there.
Exactly. And you went to Egypt and you know that. And
Right.
the fear that they have about the West, or the ideas they have about the West. And you come to the West, they're very fearful as well about the East. And I learned, being in both, you learn like, oh my gosh, we're all human. Let us just
Yeah, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of either. Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
we learned how to coexist with both worlds, but
Yeah.
they don't have that. I feel we are privileged, and that's why
Hmm.
maybe between us we can, bridge that gap, just
Yeah.
to say we are all one. We just
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to learn how to coexist, just like the Quran said, learn. And a lots of people have that misconception of the Islam is a religion, the Quran is it's about how to pray, how to do this, and these are rituals. These are tools to help you to, for your spirituality improvement. But the main call of the Quran is knowledge, is learn. come to
Mhm.
Earth to learn, connect, to grow together, and evolve together as one human family. Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah. No, that
Th-
was awesome. I appreciate you being here.
Okay, thank you. See you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.